Hello. Welcome back to my channel. You might notice it's a little bit dimmer in here today. That's because it's been raining a lot where I live. So it's very cloudy and yeah, I like the look of it, but it is making it hard to make content. So let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little different from usual, and that is a little book haul. Being in the Bookstagram community has honestly just skyrocketed my book buying habits, especially lately. And so I just want to take a look at the books I've recently bought and received and just decide whether I felt that was more of an impulse purchase, if I felt that was worth it, the cost of it. Just kind of examine my book buying habits and take a look at those. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the books that I've personally purchased. I purchased 8 books, and let's establish a timeline here. I would say these are just early April to now, so about a month. And I purchased these 8 books. Starting with my earliest purchase, I purchased 4 books from my used bookstore. Starting with a book that was high on my TBR, I found this hardcover copy of Defy the Night for only $6 at my used bookstore. And so I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I'm excited to read it. The Loneliest Girl in the Universe, also hardcover, also $6 from my used bookstore. And I thought this would be a good purchase because I was intrigued by it, and I'm not usually intrigued by sci-fi books. I'm not really a sci-fi reader, so I'm excited to give this a try. There is, however, minimal damage to it. If you can see, it's ripping on the desk cover, and that made me a little weary. There's also some spots on here. It kind of just looks worn down, but I'm gonna give it a shot, and I think for $6 that was still a good purchase. The next 2 books are manhwas, aka mangas in color. And that is Villains Are Destined to Die and Who Made Me a Princess. Manhwas aren't typically things that I purchase just because they're really pricey at full price, and my used bookstore doesn't typically have them. And I just don't think that the price is worth it for me, as it's something that I typically finish in 20 minutes. So I do not usually purchase them, but I found them at my used bookstore. Like I said, they're not usually there, so I was excited to get some. Villains Are Destined to Die is a manhwa that I've already read because I borrowed it from my sister-in-law. And this was more of an impulse purchase because I did really like this when I read it, and so I kind of wanted it as a trophy on my shelf. It was $8. Which isn't that bad of a price. I'm not disappointed that I have it. I just think it was more of an impulse buy, and I maybe shouldn't have bought it because I just don't see myself rereading it. I just kind of wanted to collect it. But either way, like I said, not disappointed I have it. Who Made Me a Princess is not one that I've read before. It is pretty thick, so I think for $8 as well, I'll get some good use out of it if I do like it. But I think I'll just have to read it to know, because I honestly didn't even take a look at what it was. I just saw that it was a manhwa, and I like collecting the colored ones, so I got it. And so maybe not the best decision making in that purchase, but like I said, I've been looking for them. They're just never at my used bookstore, so I was really excited. The next 2 I got in a FairyLoot subscription. This is my first month with it. I have always wanted to get a subscription box for bookish stuff. And I finally got off the wait list for the YA and the adult one for FairyLoot, and so these are my first 2. I will say that these took forever to get to me. These are the March boxes, which when I subscribed they said would arrive early March, maybe mid-March at the latest, and I would say they didn't arrive till late April, maybe mid to late April, but by then I'd already been charged the April one, so I never really got to make a decision on whether it would be worth it before that. And now I'm still kind of waiting to see. I'm on the fence, so let's talk about those. So March's books were Where Shadows Meet and Gifted and Talented. The combo package is about in the $60 range, $66 or something with shipping and everything, which is a little steep for me for price per book, but they do come with gorgeous sprayed edges, gorgeous end papers, little notes, a signature, all these extra little things that I don't usually go for in my books, so I wanted to give it a try and take a look at these. Let's start with Where Shadows Meet. This is such a gorgeous book. The sprayed edge, all of this makes me in awe that I even have it on my shelf. It is not something that I typically read because it is about vampires. I don't care much for vampires. I never have. But honestly, just the look of it, even without the dust cover, every aspect that goes into this is just exactly my style of what I would want on my shelf. So I'm hoping I like the story as well. But in terms of the design, I feel like it was worth it, I would say. I just feel like this book was everything I expected and wanted from the YA subscription box. It's just so pretty and I'm excited to read it. Now let's talk about Gifted and Talented. This book does not feel like my style at all in terms of content or design, which isn't to say that it's not going to be a good book. It's just I'm not the designated audience. It doesn't feel like it's for me. In terms of design, I just felt like this book had way too much going on for me. I felt like every aspect of it is covered in these designs, and it's just too much for me. It's not my style at all. I thought that with the reversible jacket, I might like the other side of it a bit better at least, but I don't know. I'm kind of picky. I don't like when my cover has real people on it. That just feels weird to me. So I just don't like this design. That's just me. In terms of the content, at least from what I've gathered from the synopsis and stuff, this is kind of one of those inheritance type books, talking about siblings and when their parent dies, and they're just kind of arguing over inheritance and stuff like that, which I've never found appealing to me. I don't really care about reading about the rich and stuff like that, even if it's rich in different ways. Like for them, they are powerful. So that's just me, and I am a little disappointed by this book. I don't think I would like it, but I'll give it a shot, and if I don't, I will either donate it to my used bookstore or list it on Pengo. I am very happy that I gave Fairy Loot a shot, and I'm hoping to read Where the Shadows Meet this month, and then I can have a better idea of whether I want to continue the subscription, if I'd want to switch to just YA because it seems that's the one I liked. So I'm just gonna take a little time, read them, and then decide whether to change that subscription. My next purchase was Wings of Starlight. I bought this at full price from Barnes & Noble. I think when this came out, I went every week to the bookstore to see if it was in stock, and I checked different bookstores, and I love Disney and I love Tinkerbell, so I wanted to get my hands on this book, and it was always sold out. And even when I went, I'd say a couple weeks ago when I got this was the last copy, and so I picked that up so fast. I'm excited for this one. This is on this month's TBR. I just have to get through some arcs first, but I'm happy with this purchase even though it was full price. I did, however, use some Barnes & Noble stamps that I had built up, so it wasn't technically full price for me, but it was listed at full price. My last purchase was Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I got this from Target because they always have like very small deals on their books. This is originally $12.99, this paperback copy, and I think I got it for like $8 or $9. I can't be sure, but it was definitely an impulse buy. I was at Target with my cousin and etc., and I was actually debating between this and Caraval, but I wanted this one because I've seen so many posts on Bookstagram about it, and it wasn't even on my TBR before that. It's just something that I've thought about and I've liked what people have posted, and so I went there and I saw it was on the sales, I guess, and I bought it. But impulse buy, not good, but this book probably good. I think I'll enjoy it, so it's worth it. And that is the 8 books that I bought. Overall, I felt like I got pretty good prices on most of them. I'm pretty happy with them. I think I'll enjoy most of them. So I don't know. I don't think my book buying habits were that bad. I do have a lot more books gifted to me than books bought. So let's get into those ones. And yeah, while I was at Target buying Once Upon a Broken Heart, my mom was there with me and my cousin, like I said, and she noticed that I was a little torn up between which one to get, and so my mom did end up buying me Caraval, which I'm excited to read. It was actually cheaper than Once Upon a Broken Heart because of the sales there, because this is originally $11.99 versus $12.99, and so this one was even cheaper. But either way, I'm really happy about reading this one as well because I just see so many good things about both series, and so I'm excited for this. Next, I had jokingly told my boyfriend about how last month there was World Book Day and that everyone was posting, and they were, that day is the day to get the book lovers in your life a rose and a book. However, I forgot how much my boyfriend loves being able to treat me to things. So he did, in fact, buy me a dozen roses, and he did, in fact, buy me not one book, but a series. My boyfriend got me the entire Shatter Me series because last month, maybe 2 months ago, I had read Fable for the End of the World. No, it was last month, and I had absolutely adored it, and it made me get back into that dystopian mindset. I wanted to read more dystopian is what I'm saying. And he had remembered me saying this is a dystopian series and that it seems pretty good and that I might want to try it sometime, and so he got the entire series for me. Well, it doesn't have all the novellas, but I'm not upset about that. This is a great gift for just World Book Day. So yeah, I adore him, and I of course treated him to a book that he would want on book day as well. Even though he's not a book lover, I just want to treat him as well sometimes. And yeah, so this is amazing, and I love him, and yeah, I'm excited to read this series. Like I said, I'm in a dystopian mindset. I want to read those. So I'm hoping to read them soon. I'm really excited for it, and I'm very thankful for them. And yeah, that's it for that series. These next 6 books you might have seen if you follow my Instagram, and that is because I posted about it because it was a date idea my boyfriend had. I have to set these down. They're way too heavy. My boyfriend had a date idea of going to the bookstore and choosing out books that spell out my name, which I've seen trends on Bookstagram of people posting a stack that spells out their name, or sometimes it's the month of the year they post a stack spelling out the month of the year or whatever, and I think those are really cute. But my boyfriend wanted to go to the bookstore and look with me and find books that spell out my name that I would enjoy. We did this at my local used bookstore because he wanted to buy me the 6 books and I didn't want it to be super expensive for him. So I went to my used bookstore where I can usually find some good deals. Honestly, it's just super fun looking around the bookstore with him. He always picks out books because he knows that I'm going to like it. And I don't know how he does that because sometimes I don't know if I'm going to like a book. But I will say a majority of these are actually picked out by him, that he ended up handing to me. And I was like, yeah, actually, that sounds really good. So, yeah, just thank you to him always for buying the books, for helping me pick the books, for being everything to me. So yeah. So let's start with S, since that is the start of my name, and Song of the Six Realms is what I ended up getting. There were a lot of books that started with S, but this was the first book I picked up in the bookstore, and it caught my eye because I think the cover is really gorgeous, and I've seen it before and I knew I was gonna like it, so this is what I ended up getting for S. It is $8 from the used bookstore, which I think is good price because I know I'm gonna like this one. For I, we found If Tomorrow Doesn't Come, and this was only $6. Pretty good quality for the hardcover. I will say I gotta wipe it down because there's some dirt and stuff on the dust cover, but that's easy fix. This is a queer apocalyptic book, I would say, from what I've read about it, so I'm excited for this one. I think it's definitely up my alley, so for $6, pretty good buy. For E, we found The End of the Ocean, since end is really the first word, we counted that one. I love the cover. It's really colorful and pretty here, and I love the themes of nature and just humanity in what I've read about this book, and so I think I'll like this one. This one's only $6, a little bit thinner of a book, but I think I'll like it either way. For the first R, we found Roar, this romantasy book from what I've gathered. Seems pretty stormy. I don't know, it looks good. I think it seems like something I'd enjoy, and this one was $8. And yeah, I think the cover is really gorgeous. For the second R, I found this paperback copy of Rebel Rose, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I've always loved Beauty and the Beast, so I was instantly lured to this one, and I'm hoping I'll like it. But this one was only $4, so a really good price either way. And yeah, for the A, we chose 1,000 Pieces of You. From what I've read, this is kind of like a murder mystery sci-fi book, which neither of those are categories that I would typically read. But it was only $6, and honestly, there just wasn't a lot of books that started with A. So I think for the price, I think it's good that it's going to expand what I would typically read, and I think I might enjoy it, so I'm excited to give it a shot. All of those books were under $40 in total. And I think it was a really good date idea. I love spending the time looking at the books with him, which I've mentioned. And after that, I went and bought him dinner, and then we went back to try to find space on my shelf for all of those books. But overall, I really like this date idea, and it was really fun. We liked this date idea so much that this past weekend, we went back to the used bookstore because he had a new idea that he wanted to see, and that was to spell my name out with the authors of the books instead of the book titles. This date idea did not go so well, and that's just because I don't think there's a lot of authors, especially at a used bookstore, because we went to the used bookstore again, that you can find that have their names start, like their last name starting with I or A, or it's not that easy to find the author's name. There are in order, alphabetical order at my used bookstore, so we went and looked at all the I sections and all the A sections, and I think there was like 3 books in the young adult section that had I with the last name, and then in some of the other sections I just didn't really like any of them, so we ended up just buying 6 books in general that I liked, and that was that date because we tried, and at least we still get to look together and find books that we think we each like, and just kind of showing each other books. I think date ideas at bookstores are always fun no matter what it is. So let's see, we got 6 Crimson Crows. My boyfriend saw this on the shelf and he thought I would like it, which he would be right because I've seen this on Bookstagram, and I think it's a really intriguing story, and so I wanted this one. It was only $8 for a pretty good in shape hardcover, so I think I'll like this one. This one was worth it. For They Both Die at the End, I've always kind of wanted to read this series. They had the prequel there too, but I wanted to start the book the way most people did, so I got this one. I was gonna use this for S, for the author's name one, but like I said, I didn't end up finding all of them, so it's just what I originally had thought. Pretty good hardcover copy, $8. So again, I think this one was pretty worth it, and I'm excited to get to this series. The only paperback I got this time was A Harvest of Hearts, and that's because look at this gorgeous sprayed edges. I think I've only seen this like once or twice on Bookstagram, but I think the cover is just so gorgeous. So I wanted this one, and I was going to use this for E because the last name there. And yeah, so this one was one I for sure wanted. This one was $12. I hate how expensive things are when they have sprayed edges, because I would have just as easily bought this without the sprayed edges, but going to the used bookstore, I don't get to really be picky. But either way, I still like this one, and yeah, cute. My next book was Sisters of the Snake. This is someone's Owl Crate edition, so obviously it's signed and stuff. But it was $10, and I don't think that's bad for an Owl Crate because I think the subscription is way more than that. This was June of 2021's. It has all the information in here. And yeah, it's not typically what I would buy. It seems like this is a princess swap plot line, except they were actually twins separated at birth. So not typically something I would read, but I am interested in it, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm excited for it, I guess. My next one was Goddess in the Machine, and this is also an Owl Crate edition. It does, however, have these like pretty gold edges. This one was actually $8, so a small bit better of a steal. This one's sci-fi, but I do think I would like this one, so I'm excited to give this one a try. And the last one we got was A Psalm for the Wild Built, and I've had my eye on this book for a while, so I was excited to see it at my used bookstore because I've never seen it go on sale. So this one was actually only $10. As according to its full price. It doesn't sound that good because it's a small book, but I do really want this book either way, so I did save some money because of that, and yeah, I'm excited for this one. Yeah, and that is it. Lots of books, and I'm really happy with all of them. Even though some of them may not be my thing, I'm excited to try them and give everything a shot. I will say I probably need to slow down on getting so many books because I am not getting through my TBR as fast as the books I'm buying and receiving from my boyfriend. He is the main problem, but I love him for it. He's so nice, trying to support my bookish dreams, and I do love all the things he's gotten me. I just need to get through more of my TBR, and I don't read as fast, so but yeah, overall I'm very happy with this haul, and this has been like a month and I got like 27 books, so that's almost a book a day. That's really exciting. That's really funny. I like it. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if any of them are on your TBR, and I'd love to hear of any books that you've recently hauled. Just comment down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope your week is going amazing, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more bookish content. Until next time, happy reading. Blah, blah, blah. Stop saying so. Yeah, it's a complete sentence on its own, and that is hair. That is what it is. Hello. In terms of design,